You know, I want to address something here. And I want you guys to really put on your thinking caps here, okay? And have an open mind. What rule, just what rule, could there be for anybody else if Mike Tomlin gets a pass like he has? What rule could there be for any other coach? You tell me. Him and Marvin Lewis are probably the only two coaches in history that can constantly lose and still keep their job. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't care about the one Super Bowl Mike Tomlin has. He played 10 wins and hunt in the Arizona Cardinals, for Christ's sakes. I mean, probably the worst freaking team to ever make a Super Bowl is the Arizona Cardinals. And, yeah, okay, Mike Tomlin beat the Cardinals. Okay. But he did it with Bill Cowher's freezer full of prime rib. That's how he did it. How could you lose with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 2000s? How could you? You couldn't. You could take the worst coach in the league right now, and they could have won a Super Bowl with that team. So I don't want to hear about that. Anybody could have won a Super Bowl with the Steelers in the early 2000s in their prime. Everybody knows that. With the defense they had and Ben Roethlisberger in his prime, any coach could have done it. Zach Taylor could have done it. All right? But let's take a look at this. Mike Tomlin, and say what you want about the Bengals, I don't give a shit. Listen, this ain't the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay? Anybody can beat up on the Browns and Bengals. Two worst organizations in sports history. Anybody can do that. But Mike Tomlin gets in the playoffs, and not only does he lose this time again, one round exit, he loses to fucking Lamar Jackson, who is known for coming up short. Lamar, Raven fans, even some of you on here are admitting it by now, but Lamar Jackson, the only reason he got a playoff win this year is because luckily for him, he was facing Mike Tomlin. If it would have been anybody else, Lamar Jackson would have got bounced in the first round. I don't care what you say. Lamar Jackson, and between him and Mike Tomlin, what rule could there be for anybody else? And here's the common denominator. And I'm going to address the elephant in the room because it is what it is. It's because they're African American. That's why. In this day and age, you can't look at one wrong. You can't say nothing to a person of color, especially if you're a white guy. You cannot say jack shit to an African American right now. Otherwise, you're going to be considered a fucking racist. It is what it is. That's the whole reason they don't. Terry Bradshaw, like I said, look it up. Terry Bradshaw called him out a few years ago. But that is the only person who has ever called out Mike Tomlin. Nobody will. Stephen A. Smith won't. Nobody else will. Of course, Stephen A. Smith, he's an idiot. He's one of them. He's a racist, but he is black, and he knows that, so he can use that to his advantage. See, that's the thing. A lot of people think that the word racist only applies to a white guy. And there's just as many racist African Americans out there as there is white people. And don't get it twisted, white racists are scumbags too. But you don't hear about the black racists because all they want to do is talk about what a piece of shit the white guy is. And I'm sick of it. Honestly, that's half the reason Donald Trump won. I don't like to get political, but I'm just telling you. That's why. People are sick and tired of this shit. And Mike Tomlin, getting back to it, like I said, he's lost. Tim Tebow has a playoff win because of Mike Tomlin. Aaron Rodgers has a Super Bowl win because of Mike Tomlin. Look at the team, look at the quarterbacks he has lost to. Ryan fucking Finley? Are you kidding me? Terrell Pryor? David Garrard? Blake Bortles? I mean, these ain't good quarterbacks. These are one-and-done players. And, I just wanted to throw my 2 cents out there. What role could there be for any other head coach? How could you say anything about any other head coach and give Mike Tomlin a pass for the track record he has? How could you do it? I know why. Because he's African American. Call me a racist, I don't give a shit. That's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. Same thing with Lamar Jackson. He'll get a free pass because of that, and, well, I don't think of any other reason. Lamar Jackson, I mean, like I said, he's lucky he played Mike Tomlin, because if he'd played anybody else, he'd got bounced right away. And I keep telling, people think I'm stupid, and hey, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm not claiming to be. But I know football. And I've been beating this drum, telling you guys, Mike Tomlin's a terrible head coach. I think the Steeler fans are finally starting to realize that. And Lamar Jackson ain't the guy. He's just not. Every single time Lamar Jackson or Mike Tomlin get in a big stage, they choke. Like I said, this ain't the Cleveland Browns or the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay? These are real football teams with real defenses and good organizations. And, well, you see the end result. That's what happens. Like I said, anybody could beat up on the shitty-ass Bengals defense and the fucking Browns with no quarterback. Anybody can do that. But Mike Tomlin's claim to fame, he's never had a losing season. He's done this before. Don't you guys remember a few years ago when he started 11-0? And I said, wait a minute. Just wait. The Mike Tomlin effect will kick in. And it did. Did that year? That's the year he lost to Ryan Finley. And this year, he was 10-3 and lost the last 4 games of the season, 1 to the Bengals. And he shit the bed against the Ravens, of all teams. I'm not saying the Ravens are a bad team, but they're not the team. As much as I hate to admit it, Patrick Mahomes is the guy. He can play in a big game. Josh Allen, he can play in a big game. I don't know what the hell happened to Detroit. I think that was a fluke. But Washington's a sleeper. Here's what happened. Detroit went in there all cocky and slept on Washington is what happened. And guess what? Hey, I wanted Detroit to go to the Super Bowl. I really thought they were going to win it. I really did. But I think they overlooked Washington and it bit them in the ass. And the Minnesota Vikings, well, that's no surprise. I mean, they do this. The Minnesota Vikings could go 17-0 and I wouldn't give a shit. As soon as they get in the playoffs, they choke. Just like the Cowboys. Same thing. Oh, well, you're a Bengals fan. What do you know? Yeah, well, just because I'm a fan of a certain team doesn't mean I don't know football. Okay? And I've been wanting to address this, and I really haven't gotten time to do it, to be honest with you, because it's been 20 below zero here, and I've actually been working a lot. But, I mean, what role could there be for any other coach? But I'll tell you, if Mike McCarthy or Zach Taylor or any other freaking coach like that makes one mistake, oh my God, put them all over the news. They got to go. Mike Tomlin loses again and again and again and again, and just let it pass. Just let it pass. Because he's African American. That's why. So, it is what it is, people. Mike Tomlin, I guess, as long as you get 10 wins, you'll get a free pass. Well, in this case, 9, but you got 10 this year. And the Ravens, let me tell you something. Even there's a certain Ravens fan on here that even said it. The only reason the Bengals should have beat them twice, really. But the reason they did it is because Zach Taylor don't know how to coach. So, hope you guys have a good night. And honestly, I really don't care who wins the Super Bowl. I'm going to tell you, I think Kansas City is going to win it because it's already been decided. The whole fucking, oh my god. The fucking Danica Patrick and frickin' Taylor Swift. I'm so fucking that's half the reason I don't watch football hardly anymore. Seriously, it's not even about football anymore. It's all about who's more popular in politics and money and gambling. That's all it is. It's not even about football anymore. Football's just an option now. As long as Taylor Swift gets on the screen. Taylor Swift, Jesus. Fucking sitting up there, fucking screaming and hollering. Oh, Travis Kelce. You're not even a Chiefs fan. I don't even know why you're there. These fucking, and that's another thing. These ain't fucking real Chiefs fans. These are Chiefs fans that just came around in 2020 when they started doing good. Same thing happened with the Steelers in the 2000s and the Cowboys in the 90s and the Niners in the 90s and the 80s. Every team goes through it. Right now it's the Chiefs. Before it was the Patriots and Steelers. And after the Chiefs, when their dynasty's over, it'll be somebody else. These ain't real NFL fans. I'm a real NFL fan of a team. I stuck with a team no matter what. Most of these people, they can't even tell you who the previous quarterback was on the Chiefs before Patrick Mahomes, because they've been diehard fans for only 2 years. Have a good night, guys.